Let's take a look at creating an assignment. An assignment is where you're going to collect stuff that the students have done. And it's very similar to creating an announcement. So I'm going to go ahead and click on assignment. You get a similar pop-up box. You can title the assignment, and I'm going to call this one columns because I want my students to learn how to create columns in Google Docs. And you can put in a description of the assignment. That's optional. You can also put some directions in here. That's usually what I do. Please read the directions at the top of the page. Ooh, I need to proofread. You can go in and correct anything you need to correct. Make sure you do that before you click assign. Here you can assign a due date. I always assign the due date a little further out than the actual due date, and that depends on you, whether or not you take late work and how you handle students who have been absent or out on a field trip. If you click here, it'll give you a nice pop-up calendar. You can go ahead months, years if you need to. I'm going to go ahead just a week on this particular assignment. So I actually need to go into a new month here. I'm going to click on the 5th of February. If you'd like to give your students a time, if this is a class that maybe doesn't meet face-to-face every day, maybe you only meet once a week, you can add a time. Maybe you'd like everything to be due at 11:59 p.m. You don't have to add that time. It's just available to you. You can add the same things, PDFs, files, items from your Google Drive, YouTube videos, and any link to any website. For this one, I'm going to just attach the page that I'd like my students to work in. So it's going to come from my Google Drive. You get a pop-up box, and I'd like it to come right from my drive, and they have a very nice search feature here. And I know that my page is called columns. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. If you notice, it'll pop up right here. Now, at this point, you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. What do you want your students to do? Do you simply want your students to read what you've posted? If that's the case, over here in this pull-down screen, you'll click on Students Can View File. That means all they can do is read. Or students can edit the file. That means that every student who has access to this will be editing the same page. Or you can have a copy made for each student. This is the one that I use the most. This is the same concept as going to the copier, making 100 copies of a worksheet, passing it out to your students. Here, making a copy for each student will do that, but what it will do is it'll pass it out digitally into their Google Classroom account. This way, when they edit, only they are editing the page. You have to be real careful here. You don't want to accidentally click on the wrong one. However, if you do, and you show up to class and students say, oh no, we're all editing the same page, it takes just a few minutes to delete what you have, re-upload it, and make a copy for each student. So if you make a mistake on this, don't freak out. Students are very, very understanding when it comes to technology. They know that they know more than we do, and we know they know more than we do. So we just have to be calm. When the mistake comes up, correct it. So I'm going to make a copy for each student. Once you have everything the way you like it, and I'm actually going to assign this to a couple of classes. I'm going to assign this to both of these classes. I'm going to assign. Now be sure it's how you like it. If you make a mistake and you have to go back in and edit, you'll have to go to each individual class to edit. You can't do a bulk edit once it's assigned. So I'm going to go ahead and click assign. And it takes a minute depending on how much content you've added. And here is my assignment. It tells me that the assignment's been created. And some things pop up. It tells me when I've assigned it. So if you're doing work at 3 o'clock in the morning, your students will see that. It's okay, they understand. Over here, it gives you the due date. It tells you how many students have completed the assignment and how many students have not completed the assignment. And at this point, there's no one in this class, so it hasn't been assigned to anyone. If anyone joins after the fact, after I have assigned this particular assignment will go directly into their account. So you won't have to reassign it for any students who maybe joined the class late or maybe weren't signed up for Classroom when you assigned this. Once again, you want to make sure that you give the right access. So for this one, each student is going to get a copy. The nice thing about this is Google actually will give a title to each student's assignment. It will have the title of the assignment as well as the name of the person who worked on that assignment. I think that's a great feature. That was always an issue in making sure students put their names on things so you knew whose work you were getting. You don't have to do that anymore. Google does it for you. Now, let's say at some point you realize, oh, this announcement is not what I wanted. Because here we have an announcement, and up here we have an assignment. You just don't like it. You don't need it anymore. You changed your mind. Maybe it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and you decided, oh, that's not what I wanted when you wake up the next morning. So you go over here to the 3 dots or the ice cream cone, click on it, and you can delete this assignment just by clicking delete, confirming, and it goes away. We'll take a look in a little bit what this looks like for the student when we hit the student view.